we've got, what is it? Gotta love Thailand. G'day, Dave. How you doing? Kimbo, how you doing? Todd, how you doing?
Yeah, good.
Morning.
Morning.
Paradise.
Morning. We didn't think we were going to get this stream done today because we thought we were going to be too inebriated from last night's little escapades, but we were good. We were responsible drinkers last night, and if you didn't catch the live stream last night, it's up. You can watch it now. Well, not now because we're watching this live stream. This is the recorded live stream from last night, 5.5 hours long. Hey, Eric, how you doing? Okay, so we've got a few articles today. But before we get started, how is everybody? Malcolm K.
I'm all good.
You're all good?
Yep.
We're going to wonder if we're trying the stream bot again, the Streamlabs bot again, to see if he's going to work, but I don't know if he is or not. We've got to work that one out. Dildo. I'll keep my dill. Good morning from England, Middle England. I thought that was Wales, wasn't it? Well, Midlands. Wales, Midlands. Anyway, Robert Groves is in the house. And, okay. It's 11 o'clock. What are we doing? So I'm going to continue with the rainy theme on the back because it's Thailand. Okay. Sorry, I almost drowned myself in coffee this morning. I only just recovered. Coffee doesn't go down the windpipe. It goes down the esophagus, isn't it? The one that goes to the stomach. When it goes down the other way, you can drown very quickly. Yeah. Okay, moving right along. Everything's working. I think everything's working. Can't think of anything else not working. We're here. Okay, got a few articles to talk about today, but we've also got we can talk about the live stream from last night if you want. Where was everybody? Sleeping, I guess.
Yeah, it was an interesting. It's just the time zone, It's sort of late for Australia, early for America, and in the middle of the night for the UK. So it's
But Mr. Groves did make it there for a few minutes before his bedtime, and a few others did make it as well. But I think we had 450 people all up in the 5.5 hours viewed the stream at some stage. Well, that was the numbers I got, which was pretty good. We averaging about 15 to 20 viewers. Again, I'm not Archie Luxury or somebody sort of famous like that trying to sort of flog off, these, incredible watches or incredulous. I don't know. Seen one watch, seen them all. I actually did not have a watch at all, right, for about 15 years, and I couldn't understand what was the fascination with watches. But hey, that was just
without one. I could have one on.
I gave up. People trying to tell me the time. I had an alarm clock in the morning. I could pretty much get to work on time. There's a clock on the wall to tell me what time the bus was and things like that. Yeah. And everything else was on schedule. So why do you need a watch? We're going to go from here to walk. Go to work. Go home when your work's done. The whole lot. Anyway, hi Todd, getting better, mate. Slowly. Hopefully a few more weeks, and I'll be able to eat proper food. Oh my God. That'd be the way. That's what we've promised. I've promised Black Forest cake. We've got to get Black Forest.
Yeah.
Cake. Robert loves Black Forest cake, so got to make sure we don't forget that one. So when we go down there, we'll come in hand with Black Forest cake.
Good to hear, Rob. Good to hear.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for that video when it comes out in a couple of months. Anyway, moving right along. So we've got a few articles today. Where are we starting? Okay. For those people down that way, so this might be advantageous to Robert and the people down that west coast there. Times must be tough. Casey Neistat is vlogger. Is he? Jeez, that's a worry. There you go, a few more viewers off to another channel. But yeah, the dual track to Hua Hin. will open this year. 2.5-hour journey time to Bangkok. They've been busily, getting the concrete down and laying track and everything else. G'day, boss. How you doing? And soon it'll actually be feasible to travel between Hua Hin to Bangkok by train. The dual track line in Hua Hin will open later this year and will slash travel time to Bangkok, the government has announced. Once open, the train line will drastically cut journey times between Hua Hin and Bangkok from 5 hours to around 2.5 hours. The government spokesman and Deputy Secretary to Prime Minister said today, September 20th. Travel times will be reduced as the dual track means that trains will no longer need to stop for one another during the journey, so they don't have to do the single line. You know how it works, you go around each other. Eventually the total of 7 dual track lines spanning some 985 kilometres will be in operation throughout the country. About time. So sometimes you just almost feel like you're in the 1950s, don't you, when you start to look at the conditions of tracks. Another dual track line that connects, that's the east, down the, what do you call it, Pattaya. There's one going through there. That's I don't know the other places. Junction, that's the junction. I don't exactly know where it is, but I know they're building that one. The Chien Road Junction, Kon Ken. The line includes 4 parts of rail. Connects to Nakhon Pathom with Chomphon and divided into 3 sections. Nakhon Pathom to Hua Hin, 169 kilometres. Hua Hin to Pachakittikan, which is where Joe lives, 76 kilometres. And Pachakittikan to Chomphon, which is even further south. Okay, but yeah, it's much sought after. Robert Mack, g'day Robert Mack, how you doing? So keep an eye out for that. There's no actual idea when it's going to open, but I believe it's scheduled for about November, December, something like that. When I read somewhere earlier this year, but things move depending on how much rain we have.
It looks, if that's Hoi in there on that picture, it looks green. I don't believe what Nick Grove says now. It's green.
Well,
it's got grass.
Well, that's a golf course.
Oh, is that a golf course?
That's the golf course. That's the old Hua Hin station here, which the train. It did have a dual or triple track. They used to have a locomotive on display here as well. That must have been moved somewhere, or maybe it's a bit further down. Well, I haven't been to the station for a few years, but. Yeah, so it used to come in there, and there was a couple of sidings there for parking the trains. But this track here is for synonymous for flooding out and being warped and things like that because of the earth movements. So everything's been laid on concrete, from what I understand, for the new line. Hello, Whitehouse, things going? We're doing pretty good. We didn't see you for the live stream last night, but there is a live stream feed from it's the post recording. You can always walk over. Well, welcome to go and check that out when we're finished here if you want. If you've got nothing to do for 5.5 hours, but you know what it's like. It rains in Hua Hin, but not Charm. They're 27 kilometres apart. Yeah. Just not doing. You're not beating the drum hard enough, Robert. Got to beat the drum. Beat the drum. Do that little rain dance. But yeah, I think it's a refreshing change, and hopefully they might even get the schedule running a few more trains down there as well. So that's the trouble with the single lane. You can only put so many trains down the track at one time. But probably more of the big news of what's coming up. Vegetable prices. This is obviously going to worry a few people. Vegetable prices soaring due to shortages. Expect to gradually increase during the Vegetarian Festival in October. So, Jack, g'day. So we are starting to see some spill-on effect with the high fuel prices from a few months ago. And the general food tension around the world because of the strife that's going on. Thailand's being one of these countries that really is a primary producer, we won't really see any shortages on the shelf. What we'll see is price rises because other countries are going to be making bids for the produce as well because they've got shortages there, and so Thailand's going to do pretty good with the whole selling to other countries, but hopefully that won't affect us at all. Just might cost a little bit more. Vegetable prices soaring due to product shortages will possibly increase again during the Vegetarian Festival in October. Local reporters report on Tuesday that the price of vegetables sold in Trang's Tak Klang market has risen by 10 baht per kilogram, or even higher in vegetables that are currently in demand, according to the local vendors. And don't forget, 10 baht per kilogram is a fairly high, a high hike for something that might only cost 50 baht to start with. That's it's more than the CPI, but this is what you got. Vendor Jeb told reporters that during this year's Vegetarian Festival, all the vegetables are becoming more expensive, especially coriander, celery, spring onions, cucumbers, beans and other kinds of leafy vegetables, because there's not enough to meet the market demand due to the weather conditions in many areas. And that's what's caused our problem, is the fact that we've had a little bit more rain than we expected, and there's a lot of what they call damaged stock on the shelves. I think that's what they were. Is it this article said that, or is another article? People like, when they buy their cucumbers, they want nice, pretty greens. They don't want, little spots of yellow or mould on them because they've been sitting around for a week. They want them nice and fresh. A lot of vegetables cause them not to be sold. Oh, okay, that's what it is. The appearance, yes, their appearance. So they have to remove, which caused. I don't know what that is. The food is still perfectly right. What are we getting so fussy now with food that, what the outside of a skin looks like is becoming an issue? We're a strange people. We are. Another vegetable merchant told Thai media that the soaring prices affect both buyers, sellers, and makes the vegetables hard to sell because it's expensive. The price is also expected to rise again during the Vegetarian Festival. Okay. So that starts. I think 9 days. September 26th. That starts Monday. Monday, right through to the. I can't even look at the. It goes for 10 days. Is it the 4th? Okay, so
yeah.
No, it's only 8 days. Okay, so it's only 7-day festival. Okay. So keep an eye out for that. But there'll be lots of vegetable dancing videos coming up from the south parts of Thailand, starting probably in a couple of days. I wonder if Joe's going to get down that far and see the festival. I'm pretty sure he's going to try to make it down there. But there will be others, I'm sure. No, I'm not going.
Well, I'm heading down to Songkla in the middle of October, so I don't know whether that festival will still be going then. So.
Well, is it okay? So let's catch up with what we sort of take is, Jack. I'm doing the dance. Must be doing it wrong. Maybe you can show me. I can definitely show you how to do it properly. But you need that big 24-inch Indian, drum. It's a ring. It's deer hide, pulled tight. And it's going to be dried in a certain fashion. I know how to do it all. I just need the hide and the wood, and I can show you how it's done. And make you one. Good morning, David SK. How you doing? And it was Robert. I'm doing it to AC/DC tight. It's still not working. No, that's not rain dance music. No, Pat Thai. How you doing? Sabai di krab. Loved your long clips last night. She's one of the persons obviously watched it after. Well, were you watching it live? You didn't say anything. Anyone from Melbourne, the football final today? Yes, we've been told. We were talking about that last night as well. Was it Swans or something or other?
Cats.
Cats and Swans. Cats and Swans, isn't it? Something like that.
Passing Cats from Cardinia Park.
Yep. Well, I think a cat would probably sort of make mincemeat of a swan if it was given a chance, unless of course the swan's in water, and cats don't like water. So,
Well, it's one of those unique things in AFL that it's a grand final with two non-Melbourne teams, because Geelong does consider itself non-Melbourne.
non-Melbourne, yes.
Yeah.
Robert, yes, it goes for 10 days in Phuket. I was speaking with Tim Newton this morning. Okay, good. Anyway, so vegetable prices. Here's a little amusing thing I came across, and it's always something that amuses me that goes on this list, and because nobody else has contributed. Well, Todd puts a few up, but other people need to contribute more if you want some more factual stuff. This one here, I'm going to give you a link to this one because you might find it useful. They put up this CCTV camera access for around Bangkok, which I thought was rather novel. And it's great. It's a great little tool. We can have a look up here, and what do we got here? We got BMO. They did this before. I got to do a refresh of the page of it. I think it's got a timeout on it. Let me just refresh that page again. The code on its probably 1990s version. They don't have really good coders in Thailand. Not that I've seen them. Yeah, so we got this one here. This is the famous what do you call it? Let's have a look at the name. There was an accident up there. We're all going to try to practice this name.
Boromara Jonani.
Boromara Jonani.
There you go.
But yeah, so there was an accident there, slightly before reaching side 3 cars collided, blocking left lane on the main road. Traffic jams. Looks like the traffic jam's clear now. Can't really tell. Unfortunately, that's the size we get on these things here. And that camera, it looks like it's frozen. This is what I love. They put a system up, and if you start to analyse the system, you're going, a lot of it's broken. Well, that one's actually moving. That's on the elevated Boromara Chonanon. Boromara Chananon. Boromara Chananon. We call it bring a beer along, okay? Because the fact that
a beer along road.
Bring a beer along road. If you want to.
Yes. Learn how to pronounce it properly.
Robert's got another alphabet road, but I don't think it's got the whole alphabet there. Yeah. It's probably got every Thai character in it. I'm just wondering. No, it's not 44 characters in there. But it's yeah. After fun to get them on your park and move around a bit. Yes, yeah, okay. So this is something like this. You got a link there if you want to play around with it. And people talk about traffic in Bangkok. Well, you can actually get confirmation on how that traffic's looking. That traffic that's again on the elevated. Get into some more of the getting into the city. Well, it doesn't look like the traffic doesn't look too bad there. Yeah, there was another article I was reading this week. Some of the Western news circuits were starting to harp on the fact that Bangkok itself is almost like sort of a miniature version of what do you call it? Blade Runner. All those elevated roads and elevated railways and multi levels and dingy dark alleys. And I suppose you can sort of get some sort of feeling about the state of play here with the underground roads and the elevated roads and multi levels. Mind you, Blade Runner was quite multi level. It wasn't only 3 or 4 levels. It was 20 levels, wasn't it? But it was a lot of fun. But yeah, you could have hours of fun just to look at all the different locations around the street and all the helmetless riders and
Contraflow.
Contraflow. Well, that's working out what working out what contraflow is. Yeah, a lot more motorcycles on the road in Thailand than there is probably in Australia or anywhere else in the world, apart from Vietnam and maybe India. Well, there's a bit of traffic on that road, but it's not standstill. It is flowing. Yes, anyway, you can always check that out at your leisure anytime you want. It's a BMA traffic cam. Look, have we got one in Sydney for that? I don't know.
No.
Yeah. But, yeah.
I've got an interest in checking it.
Not that I got it. Yeah.
No.
It does list accidents that are known, have been reported. So you can click, as I said, you can click in here, and that's the camera. Let's have a look at that's the report there. That's another collision, is it? If we can just select it properly and do a translate. Was it on the bridge over Ramkanhang intersection? Kamhang, the outbound side, 200 metres before reaching the exit of the road, lose control of the edge of the road, blocking the right lane. So that one's got a right lane, you can't, yep. Unfortunately, the camera won't show you because it's not pointing in the right direction, but well, a bit of traffic in that location. But yeah, look, I'm sure you're going to have hours of fun looking at all those cameras. I know there was somebody set up a YouTube live stream on the corner of Asok there. I had a bookmarked. I think I threw it away. Joe Elliott. Good morning, Mr. Joe. Yeah. Anyway, alas, it only goes out as far as at the end of Bangkok province because it finishes there at Sai Si. Right, so that's the province border, and yeah, this is a different province. We don't have cameras out here, so we're in the 1930s.
And I love it.
We love it out here. Yeah, hours and hours of fun to amuse yourself. Have a look at all the cameras around the place. You never know. Where are we going to next? Okay. Thai Cabinet approves 45-day stay for tourists entitled to visa exemption and 30 days with visa on arrival. And visa on arrival. So visa exemption is what us Australians and I think Americans and English people would have been entitled to with a 30-day. You just no visa required. You come in, they stamp your book with an exemption stamp or whatever they call it, and you can enter the country. And that's good for 30 days. That has now been extended to 45 days officially. And other visas there, other countries had what they call visa on entry. Places like around Asian region and other countries, they had a 15-day visa on entry, which means you didn't actually have to go to an embassy in your own country. You could come in and get a visa in the airport for 15 days. That's now been made 30 days long. Again, just to encourage people to stay longer and spend more money. Why not? So the Thai Cabinet approves the edict for the Interior Minister Tuesday, extending the period, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, for the extension is, however, only temporary from October 1 until the end of March next year to coincide traditionally tourism high season in Thailand, when more tourists, especially from Europe and the US, are expected to escape the cold weather and head to Thailand. Yeah. Nobody likes cold weather. Currently, though,
So did you say that that's not applicable to Australians, or?
No, so it's that Australians would have the 30-day visa exemption. Basically you can come in without a visa. That's now 45, well, from October 1 it will be 45 days.
So in my case I don't need a visa then?
No.
Well, how long are you coming for? You're only coming out for...
be 14 days probably.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No,
that's you, but you're visa exempt. I don't know. Do you need do you need a leaving certificate to get out of jail or what?
No. I don't have to do what I did.
Don't have to do that anymore. Okay, yeah, because jail.
It's a ticket and I'm out of here.
Yeah, prison colony Australia. Yeah. Extension of stays. Currently, though, most foreign arrivals in Thailand are from Malaysia and India. And that was quite evident last week when we were wandering around the streets of Pattaya. It was very few Chinese, but lots and lots of Indians. They were very prominently sort of visible throughout the whole stay there. The extension of stay confirms the decision of the Centre for COVID-19 Situation in late August based on the proposal to the Cabinet also decided to remove the COVID-19 from the list of forbidden diseases. I didn't even know it was on there as a forbidden disease, but anyway, that was tuberculosis, was it elephantitis, syphilis, what else is there?
Typhoid?
I think, is AIDS one of them? Was it typhoid? I don't know, it's been too many years now. I'm sure Robert, Mr. Encyclopedia there will tell us that the diseases were on the list. That's why we have Robert there. He's the man who knows it all. According to the government spokesman, about 5 million foreign tourists have arrived in Thailand so far this year, including 1 million this month alone. So Thai government has set a target of walking 10 million for the whole year. So they reckon another 5 million are going to arrive in the next September, October, November, December. So in the next 4 months they're expecting 5 more million people. Okay, I suppose it's achievable. Okay, moving right along. What's the good series? What's the good series? What are we going to do?
Do just a short stab of me doing my little solo excursions, like one to for my trip down to Songkhla, and I want to head to Sukhothai at some stage, and then maybe Chiang Mai, just to actually understand the country a bit more and go to areas. So that's the reason I'm going down to Songkhla, is to check it out. I haven't been south, so.
Yeah, well, to shoot some video, we can put it up on the live stream and do some extra footage on live stream or something like that.
Yeah,
you can narrate.
You know me. I'm not really into.
We can put it up. You can narrate it and keep me quiet for the hour. Yeah, why not? Yeah. Sounds like a good plan. No. Okay. Anyway, so good news for the tourists coming in. Okay, this one here caught my eye because being an IT guy. Of course, the big question, I'd like to see what's actually on this list. I don't actually have a link to the list that they're citing here. Because I'd love to know where Australia sits on it. I mean, if Thailand is only in the 49th position and we got bloody incredibly good internet, compared to Australia, God, Australia must be position 117 or something, isn't it? Anyway, so Thailand's internet quality, stability and growth is 40% better than the global average according to Surfshark. Thailand fell 5 spots to 49th position out of 117 countries in the Digital Quality of Life Index, weighed down by internet affordability. And this is what got me, and sometimes it's hard to really look at it in that perspective. So we look at it here, and like I pay get my calculator out. We're going to do the Australian dollars, aren't we? That's Thai baht. Let's do it.
In my head, I think it's normally around $30 a month. That's how I think of it. If it goes up and down, doesn't really worry me.
So I'm paying, $749 a month. So I'm paying $30 a month for unlimited data, 1 gigabit down, 5. People don't believe me. I'm sure they think I'm making up these numbers. I know I'm not going to do it because last time I did that, I actually crashed the stream, didn't I? For some reason, YouTube doesn't like me running a speed test. I'm not going to do that again. Remember that one? Okay. Anyway, the report gauged the countries based on 5 fundamental digital well-being pillars: internet quality, which we've got excellent quality, e-government, e-infrastructure, internet affordability, and e-security. And supposedly Thailand's worst ranking was internet affordability at 70th position, while the best showing was internet quality at 15th. So we've got the 15th best quality in the world, but it's affordability that brings it down. The nation's e-infrastructure services tailed 47th, while the government and e-security ranked 53rd and 57th respectively, which I think's, given who Thailand is, it's not too bad. They could pay some more people like myself to help improve those numbers, but I have a fairly high asking price. In the face of surging inflation, fixed broadband internet has become less affordable worldwide for the second year in a row, prying the global digital divide. The firm said. Thailand's internet affordability needs to improve by 2,260% to match the best-ranking country, Israel, according to the report. Wow. Residents can buy 1 gigabyte of mobile data internet in Thailand for as cheap as they're not using price, they're using your personal labour, yeah. So 4 minutes and 18 seconds of work per month. So that's 1 gigabyte of data in Thailand costs you 4 minutes and 18 seconds of work per month based on the average wage, which is about maybe 20,000 baht a month. And 26% of improvement on Sri Lanka. However, compared with Israel, which has the most affordable internet on the planet, at 5 seconds you only have to work 5 seconds to get a gigabyte of data. Thailand's have to work 52 times longer to get the same amount of data. I love the way that they actually quantify this sort of thing. Fixed broadband costs ties around 4 hours and 45 minutes of work time each month, which means to get a month worth, to get your broadband on your house, like the 749, I think they're probably using a different figure, but they have to work for 4 hours and 45 minutes for a month just to pay for their internet, which is, that's what they're getting out of us. To afford I'm not trying to mansplain, okay? I'm just trying to put it in the context of my own head. Total afford fixed broadband ties have to work 15 times longer than Israelis, for whom the most affordable package is only 19 minutes of work per month, according to the survey. Since last year, broadband internet has become less affordable in Thailand as people work 83 more minutes to afford fixed broadband internet services, the firm indicated. According to the Surfshark, the internet quality in Thailand is impressive. On the global scale, fixed broadband internet quality is better than mobile. Thailand's internet quality, considering the internet speed, stability and growth, is 40% better than the global average. Yeah, so the mobile internet ranks at 40th. Israeli ranks the first, pushing Denmark to second for 2 years. Poll. Yeah, so it's one of those. So I just thought it interesting, to see how the other countries compare. But I'd love to see where Australia sits on this thing. Is anybody got a link to this to where Australia fits on the Surfshark index, or do we have to go internet? Is there such a thing as an actual index? Oh, there we go. That's 2020. They went on 2020. That's way too old.
Yeah.
The Shark, the 2021. Is that still Surfshark?
Yep.
It's 2021. Australia. Come on, AU, Australia. Global rank 17th.
17.
Bullshit. There we go. YouTube will hate that word.
Yeah, 50th in broadband speed, though.
Broadband speed, I would have put that at 100.
Really?
The amount of time
See, I switched to the 5G, and that was the best thing I ever did.
sometimes I dropped out when I used to live stream before I came over.
Yeah, so I'll switch to that 5G when I moved here, and yeah, I mean, compared to you guys, it's still nothing. I mean, I'm peaking speed tests of 580, and down in what was about 80 or 90 up. The recent one I did.
Nothing wrong here.
Yeah. Don't know what index they're looking at. Maybe there's, but this is the trouble with statistics. You know, people can be very picky about what statistics they want to display, which is a bit of a shame, unfortunately. That's how we used to sell so much data to all these companies, because, you know, only show them the data they want to see. They don't want to see the data that makes their stock look bad. But yeah. But anyway, okay, so that's not really helping out, is it? Dual track, cabinet approves. Okay, moving right along. Where are we? 36 minutes. Paul A, g'day, how you doing? We changed from 2 to 3BB, better speed. Yeah, I keep on telling people that 3BB has always been our perfect choice. And that's what I've got, 1,000 down, 500 up, 749 baht a month. Well, that's what they're charging me. Well, I pay 3 months in advance, so I get a 3% discount. And I've got to go and pay it this week too, because it's end of September, isn't it? October, November, that's 3 months here. So, otherwise, there'll be no broadband next week. No, no gaming.
No.
Oh no.
Dinosaurs.
No dinosaurs. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Acting PM Prowett stuns cabinet demanding a 35 baht to the dollar rate and action from the finance minister to stop the slide. What are we looking at today? What did we end up yesterday?
Anyone say market manipulation quickly 5 times?
Beetlejuice. Oh, that's it. That's the end of it. So 1 baht. Oh, so no, let's go $1. 37.8 at the moment. So it's going down. Rated on it's going up.
Conversion.
Yeah, it's America. They're just printing more money, which they tell everybody not to do. You know. Anyway, baht depreciation is now being driven wider. Difference between interest rates in the United States and Thailand, which has gone beyond the critical point of 150 to 175 basis points, even before Wednesday's rise, which could see it grow wider to a further 175 basis points at the end of the year. The Federal Reserve maintains the hawkish stance with the projected Thai interest rates. The situation ultimately may lead to the Bank of Thailand being forced to raise interest rates higher and faster than it wants, given the capital movement we are now witnessing. The trouble is, America's now giving sort of pretty good bond rates, and so people are pulling their safe haven money out of places like Thailand and Central Asia and throwing it back and buying bonds, and the liquidity of the Asian currencies is getting it's quite sad. Acting Prime Minister could not again allow the baht to trade at $50 baht against the US dollar. Did it ever get that high? It probably didn't in that Asian financial crisis, didn't it? Back in the late 90s there. I don't actually know what number it got to. We haven't got that data in front of us. He called the Minister of Finance to work at the Bank of Thailand to bring about the rate of 35 baht to the US currency on Wednesday. The baht fell below the 37 barrier for the first time since October. Below the barrier, above the 37. The way they say it's all weird. Yeah, it's 37.8 right now. So the intervention of Prowett is reported to have drawn mirthful response from ministers around the cabinet, and was later qualified by press briefing from temporary government spokesman. This has always been a contentious issue out of the money markets, the fact that they manipulate this. What can you say? Thailand's struggling with the current situation around the world, just like a lot of countries, but I think we're still fairly safe there. And what's Paul saying? Trying to cap the baht isn't what cause a huge recession. No, what they did in the 90s is they printed money, which is exactly what US is doing right now, and they tell everybody else not to do it. But you can only print so much money because basically it's printing money is based on the amount of bonds you sell, based on the fact that you're going to give somebody back some money at a particular point in time, which allows you to make the pool of money bigger and so on and so forth. And then of course you've got to destroy that money when all the currency. I don't want to teach people finance. You should have gone to school. I did school finance in the 1970s. This is what we talked about it then. And it still didn't stop it from happening in the 1990s. God alrighty. What happened to history? Don't they teach history in schools anymore?
That would mean research and looking at things called books.
No, yeah. I'm pretty sure the financial advisor of the world read Facebook posts rather than the actual data. But anyway, Thailand's interest rate is well below the peers of Asia, as well as the United States. As well as the United States, because the fears of the kingdom's fragile economic recovery. And that's the thing, when you got 20% of your GDP based on tourism, which hasn't worked for 2 years, it makes things a little bit of a rocky road. But they're going to get more for price of rice. Rice has gone up, I think, 5 baht per kilo or something on the international market. And that sort of hurts people. Especially in Thailand, where rice is a staple. But anyway, we also got the TV package for free, $500 per month, free Netflix as well for a year. Good deal. Yeah, I actually had a Netflix deal before, and I hardly ever used it, so I cancelled it. I've never really used those services before. I know where to get the movies. They're all there. You've got to know how to use the system. Anyway, moving right along, because I need to go to the bathroom. There's no strict COVID. Yeah, this is the last one. Last on. Yeah. No strict COVID controls from October 1. Right. Yes. Visitors will not be required to show their COVID-19 vaccination or test certificates, and infected people with mild or no symptoms or no need to enter isolation from October 1. It's officially said, supposedly, until they change their mind again. The changes were announced by the Public Health Minister after a meeting at the National Community. He said the committee resolved to redefine COVID-19 as a communicable disease under the surveillance, and relevant measures would change accordingly for visitors, locals and infected people. Sorry. I'm a little bit cloudy, we didn't get too drunk last night, but yeah. From October, my visitors not need to show their results of antigen tests for COVID-19 or any evidence of COVID-19 examinations. So that's a nice positive for people jumping on planes. Infected people who had no or mild symptoms would not be isolated, but would be advised to strictly follow measures to help control the disease, including the use of facial masks, social distancing, hand washing for 5 days. Mr. Ayrton said that the National Communicable Disease Committee also agreed to redefine COVID-19 as a communicable disease under the surveillance instead of as a dangerous communicable disease. Yes, makes sense. Infected people were advised to take strict precautions. Okay. Infected people might have to follow different disease protocols, policies at their workplace. Again, workplaces have got other rules, they can do that, which is nice. After following disease for 5 days, COVID-19 could not. We had a bit of a scare with our little trip away. We got back on Tuesday, and we got a message from Cody about 4 or 3 hours after we landed. He got home with a headache, so he took an antigen test and tested positive. So we've all been taking antigen tests. There you go.
Yep.
Negative.
Negative.
But yes. But
there we are.
Interestingly enough, was Jerry. He felt like shit right? And he was testing negative, but he might have just had the flu. Yeah, when you
It's
go,
still around. That's what people forget. It's still around. It's still a virus that's hanging in there. But because people have been so vigilant with their sanitising, it hasn't been as prolific as.
you don't mean that we could have wiped or almost removed influenza from the disease list if we actually decided to exercise cleanliness? No, that doesn't work. That's.
I'm being logical. Sorry,
you're being logical there. Oh my God, you can't do that. Okay, no, I'm not going to. I'm going to. Anyway, let me just go to that. Todd can hold the show for 5 minutes while I just 2 minutes. Yeah, you go by Hong Nam.
Mayor Groves, the emergency decree, yes, is supposed to end from the 1st of October. Be interesting to see if that actually goes through. But as you said, the SCDC is saying that COVID-19 is no longer a dangerous situation. The CCSA just being disbanded October 1, so there doesn't seem to be a reason for the emergency decree, so we'll have to wait and see. Question about Pattaya. I don't want to spoil the videos. It's a 5-part series. All I can say is, well, yeah, that's all I can say.
Stay tuned and watch the videos.
If you go there by yourself and you're have a certain belief in how you find your own entertainment, I'm sure you will enjoy it. But if you go there to actually see cultural Thailand and Thai country like Sukhothai, Utia, Songkhla, Isan areas, no, it's not like that. Of course, going with mates to Pattaya was fun. We always hang out. And when we have fun when we always hang out, so that made it bearable. But all I can say, it's like the Gold Coast was, well, in the 70s or the 60s, but even worse, if I can say that. I'm going to get blamed. I'll get blamed. All I can say is just have a look at the videos about our trip to Pattaya. I mean, I'm glad I went. It was a fun time with some really good mates, and got to experience a few things. Like there's a photo up on Wazza's Facebook site of me getting a very, very sensuous massage with little piranhas attacking my feet, and I've read up about it. That's on my bucket list. Got to give it a go. But the little shits drew blood. They liked me too much. They got down. They nibbled on me and drew blood. So
yeah, but you had the good you had the good 2.5 to 3 inch long ones. My tank only had the 1.5 inch ones. Yeah, so they don't have sharper teeth, or they've had their teeth blunted or something. I don't know. But yeah,
little piranhas, little shit. I mean, it felt weird enough as it was. When I got out, it was like 3 or 4 like vampire marks on my calf muscle. It's like I didn't have these. I don't get young marks. These are bloody fish marks.
These are fish bites. But it was fun anyway. There's lots of little things, yeah. The flotation tank, I'm still really not over the flotation tank. This is something that if you ever get a chance to try the flotation, or I would like to still use the old term, the sensory deprivation tank, because quite frankly, changing the name doesn't change the effect, right? Yeah, okay, you float. It's a snowflake word, flotation tank, floating. They don't really encapsulate what it's like inside, where you basically have no senses. Your visual's gone, your audio's gone, and you're sitting there basically floating on, and something that intellectually is water, and you can play with it with your hands in the tank, and it feels like water. But as you sit there motionless, it becomes hard. It's like hard rock or a jello sort of rock substance pushing up against your body. It's quite bizarre. Plus,
it's the old 70s, 60s waterbed type situation.
Well, no, because I had a waterbed for 20 years, and it's a little bit, but again, it's something to do with just the fact that they equalise the temperature between the water and the air in the tank as well, so that it's the same temperature. You get these little sensations of the water just lapping across the hairs of the top of your skin here, because everything's floating. You are literally floating on this bed of water. You don't sink, but you do get the water line on, just gradually running up and down the hairs on your own, and that's what I keep on getting. I keep on getting these tingles in my arms and legs, and as I say, I kept on using the analogy. I can feel the hair on my arms growing. It's quite bizarre. But yeah, if you get a chance to do it, you've got to try it. The guy was great. Definitely sort of promote his workshop there. He goes through a good, half hour sort of, was an introduction of telling you all about the process, and then you sit down and, you do the hour in there, and then of course you can sit down afterwards and have a nice cup of tea. I think we had herbal tea and something, and, basically recount what you felt, and, it is quite bizarre. But anyway, you said it's in part 5. That part 5 was the one that had the least amount of girls in it, and that's the one that got demonetised. YouTube.
We did do a lot of walking. I did enjoy that. The walking around the area. A lot of things are close by or close-ish, and doing the walking was fine. Well, we actually did a bit of exercise in the pool and laid about and just relaxed. So that was
got a bit suntan.
Yeah.
Head was peeling a bit there, and still is peeling a bit.
Down my t-shirt because I got a bikini line. So
he's got a bikini. Yeah. My forehead's flaking, but yeah. So I got back, and I basically was suffering from a bit of heat stroke because I haven't been out in the sun like that for goddamn ages. Talk from somebody that in his early teens who'd sit down, and every summer we'd have competitions to see how black we could get.
Yeah.
Mark always got better than me.
What's sunscreen lotion?
No, we're cooking oil.
Yeah. What was that? Palm oil used to be in a brown bottle. In Australia, used to get the palm oil.
I remember there was one called Tanfastic. Remember Tanfastic? Yeah. It had a smell to it. It had a particular smell which was quite. It had coconut, but it had something else in it. But yeah, and you just take that on. Let's baste ourselves. Refoil. Yes, that's the one. God, he's a Robert the Encyclopedia. Right, Robert the Encyclopedia. Good to have a mate like that, because I'd have to be smart.
If you ever find a Trivial Pursuit night, great.
I'm not playing.
You can do the general knowledge, and anything that comes up with music, I'll nail it. And we'll be fine. We'll take home the meat tray or whatever's up for grabs with
right.
trivia night.
Anyway, so moving right along. What else was I going to sort of say? I also noticed that the cloud bot's not working, so that's solved that problem.
Yeah.
That's send me a support case I'm going to have to raise them this week, find out what the fuck's going on. Anyway, what else we got? I was going to say, Robert's made a mention of the website there. People have been asking me, where's part 2, where's part 3? Well, there's no secret, the general population get it when it's released on YouTube. The special crew, the people who are in the know the fact that they go up here in the Discord channel first, and they go up on the Patreon site, they go up on the members links in the YouTube site, and they go on my website. It's not like I'm doing anything nefarious. It's the fact that, if you want to just be a YouTuber, then go to YouTube and it comes out on YouTube time. But yeah, if you know how to deal with it, you can get around those sort of things. yeah, I'd like to be sort of one of these people that sort of promotes the whole money side of YouTube and everything else, but quite frankly, that doesn't work anymore. You're getting from what we were making on YouTube income from ad revenue 3 to 4 years ago. It's a third of what we were making on ad revenue, and now they encourage you to do promotions like membership and other sort of third party and merchandise and everything else. They want you to get involved with the whole money making scene, and I should do something about it, but it's up to everybody else. It's love you guys to be putting the $2 a month in there. You get 100 people doing $2 a month. It pays for all the beer at Susie's.
Yes, Susie did survive. It was an awesome night. If you got 5 hours, put it on in the background, and you can sort of feel like you're part of the scene with the sounds and the sights in the background. And, yeah, it was an awesome night, and it's good to see. Susie works very hard, and it was good to see her relax a little bit and let her head out.
She didn't seem to be relaxing for the first hour. She's sitting there making all the food.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's Susie. She does that. She wants everyone to be happy.
Get the menu out. Get the menu out. Put it on the table. That's the stuff you can send somebody down the road for it. Sit down and relax.
No, she wants everyone, and they say good food makes you happy here in Thailand, and she cooks up the good food, and once she's got that out of the way, she socializes, and she was socializing last night, so it was good to see.
Yeah, I've got a couple of t-shirt designs that I want to get out there. I've got to do a bit more work. I've got to actually re-render them at that size rather than screenshot size. But yeah, again, it's just one of those sort of things. You get to this point in time, and you go on, like you work, 40 years of your life, you give everything, then you get shafted, and you just give up the whole. Really, the world doesn't need you anymore type attitude, like whatever. You had your chance, the world had the chance to do the right thing, and you get shafted, and then you give up on the whole deal. I just want to just now build a crew of people who are intelligent, smart, and can fend for themselves, and we all work and bounce off each other and build a community, because that's what society is missing these days. I don't think about the money side of things, but money's good. Pays for drinks at Susie's. That's what I'm getting at. And for the occasional dress for Chanya. But I have to admit, in the last 3 months, I've spent a little bit more than my budget than I really wanted to do, which is going to come back to bite me in about 3 years' time, because I have to get that all sorted out. And your portfolio is. I think my portfolio has only grown $13,000 in the last 12 months. Traditionally it was growing twice as much, right, over a 12-month period before COVID, and that's of course my retirement income. It has to be $30,000 a year growth factor to maintain a lifestyle going forward. And I said, so I got that's a bit of a wake-up call. I'm not trying to sort of cry poor, but people don't understand the background of what everybody goes through when they're here and they're not working, because that's it. That's your income, and you've got to deal with it. I've lost $13,000 last year out of my income, so I need to make that up. Maybe I need to do YouTube like YouTube want to do and be all snowflakey and can't talk about. I can't talk about girls. Can't talk about cannabis. Can't talk about what are the other things that can't talk about pussies, pussycats. Can't talk.
Yeah.
What is this?
Well, we're just talking about that. My first week in Thailand, go to Susie's bar, and Susie is the owner. But there is a silent partner. Well, not so silent partner, Richie.
Yeah,
Richie the cat.
Richie the cat.
Richie and I got along famously first time we met, and my first pussy in Thailand. And you're not going to get any money from this live stream either, was so.
Yeah, that's right.
I've said the P word.
That's all right.
Potato in Thailand. Pattaya in Thailand. Puyin in Thailand.
Yeah, it's crazy. Maybe we start talking. We've got to start swearing in Thai. Mangai, wow.
My crew, my teacher will probably see the video and go,
yeah, you fracked that idea exactly. Anyway, we're at the hour mark. We know what we got. You got to. There's a grand final today. Let me get out of your hair so you can go watch the grand final. Go to Swans. Go Swans. Anyway, peace out, guys. Love you and leave it. Where's my closing screen? There it is there. And we'll see you, in the videos, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.